if you come from my other channel, then hey, thank you so much for supporting me. I'm so excited to have you here. I hope you're gonna love it. And if you're not, this is just my second channel, I guess. I do weekly Am I the Asshole Reddit stories here, and yeah, we're just gonna hang. We're gonna talk about if they're assholes or not. So if you like that, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the new episodes coming out every Sunday. But I would say let's just get started. I picked a very personal topic today. Not that personal, but I thought we were gonna do uni stories slash college stories today, as uni in Germany, so for me, is starting back up tomorrow. So I'm going back to uni for my third year. It's my last year, so I'm excited. But also, I'm hoping that I can relate a lot in this episode, and I can give some good insight points, maybe. Who knows? So, grab a drink. My drink of the day is the Red Bull Winter Edition in a fig apple. So that's what we have. I have never tried that, so I hope it's good. Let's taste test. Yeah, it's delicious. That's good. Right, so let's get started with the first story. This is the most awarded one of the stories that we're going to read today, so I'm excited to see it. It also is one of the highest all-time Reddit stories, so I really hope we're in for something good. And this story is called Am I the Asshole for Announcing That My Dad Is Not Paying My College Tuition? My aunt and my uncle are paying for my cousin's college. My dad had a college fund for me, but he had stipulations like he wanted nothing below B grade, and to pre-approve any classes I take, weekly meetings to discuss grades, and a bunch of other stuff, which would be fine if you have a normal dad. Mine isn't. My dad has a temper, and I spent 6th to 12th grade stressed out about grades, and being screamed at or grounded over things that sometimes weren't even my fault, like a teacher not updating online grading, or an assignment being marked missing because of it, and getting my backpack and locker randomly searched by him for no reason, besides to make sure I'm not hiding anything. I decided to pay for school myself because of 1, not being stressed over getting screamed at, 2, I didn't feel like constantly worrying that he didn't approve of a class or grade and decide not to pay, which I could totally see him doing. I'd rather be in debt than controlled for 4 more years. I just finished my first year. Well, my family got together on the 4th and, well, sometimes they're nosy. They were talking about my cousin's school, and my uncle looked at my dad and said, "Well, how much is my name school costing you?" I said, "What are you asking him for? I'm the one paying for it." Later, my dad was pissed off and said that it was out of line to say that, and I embarrassed him. I didn't do it to embarrass him. I was just being honest. He doesn't even know how much tuition is, so he was actually the wrong person to ask. Okay, top comment was deleted. Let me find the next top comment. Okay, that other top comment is not the asshole. So what if he was embarrassed? His emotions are not yours to manage. You told the truth. Expanding on it, yeah, there were too many micromanaging strings attached to accepting money that I didn't want my soul to have him pay for college. Alright, what do you guys think about that one? I'm just gonna guess this is American, just for her saying college, you know, and for, I think it's a girl. Give me a second. I don't think anyone says. Okay, no one says. Okay, no one says it. The OB doesn't say it. So I'm not gonna assume gender. I'm trying not to. I had the feeling it was a girl, but maybe it's something else. So I hate to break it here, but I'm just assuming this is America because it really sounds like it, and it's kind of hard for me from a European standpoint to understand, you know, the college fees and stuff in America and how much weight that is on a young person. So if you don't know that in Europe, or at least in Germany, I'm not sure about other countries. I know in England they want a bit for uni, but I currently pay 127 euros for my uni course every 6 months, so every semester, which would be 260 euros roughly for an entire year of uni. The most money that goes from that is for the train ticket. I think it's 89 euros per semester go towards your train ticket that is provided by the local train company. So you get like a semester tickets called where you can use the public transport to get to university. It has like certain time limits, and so you need like to pay a bit extra to get the full days. But your ticket would also already be included, and I think the rest, the like 50 euros, are just kind of like for getting a uni card and for some like simpler things. Obviously you do have to pay for living and stuff, which always is a bit of a chunk as well, but it's just always really hard for me to think about that in America, you know, or as well in Australia, how much money you have to pay for just being able to go to uni. Like, house as well. Your dad had that coming. It wasn't even like she was, or he was. It wasn't even like they were saying anything negative about it. They were just like, I am the one who's paying for college. He doesn't know why you're asking him. So I feel like fair game. Their dad sounds a bit stuck up. I am not into being so controlling and being so behind grades and stuff. I am a very big believer of that grades do not define you, especially in your younger years, like high school years. It is so hard to judge a kid by their grades because everyone learns differently, everyone has different abilities and different preferences, and you know, why does the star cook have to be amazing in maths? But sadly, maths is usually what someone is defined by, or their intelligence, like the traditional subjects. So even though you could be absolutely amazing at cooking, you might have not done well in uni. Or let's say you're absolutely amazing at school, but you can be an absolute douche in real life and just absolutely not being able to socialize well. So yeah, I feel like that's the asshole here. I feel like you should support your kids without any conditions. So yeah, but you go whoever you are. If it's in America, I can only imagine how much money they have to provide to go to college and how much work they have to pick up while going to college, which is insane. I am struggling really hard sometimes to get my uni and my extra work, my hobby, which is YouTube, under one hood. So time-wise, you know, props to you. I am amazed, but yeah, I'm not the asshole. I hope their dad chills a little. Okay, next story is called Am I the Asshole for Mocking My Brother for Getting Rejected by Stream College that I got into because he keeps tormenting me over it. My brother Jake, 18, and I, 17 female, had the same dream college, H University. Also, in case you're confused by the ages, we're 1.5 years apart. But I skipped a grade, so we were in the same grade for nearly our entire life. Jake was always more passionate about H Uni than I was. He had several H merch clothing and kind of just assumed he was going there. For example, in conversations he said things like, once I'm in H or after I go to H, my plan is. Basically, his entire life plan rested on him going to H. Do they mean like Harvard with that, or am I like missing what uni they mean? Jake and I got along pretty well. We'd sometimes give each other advice or study together. However, during college application season, he got super competitive once he realized I was also applying to H. He refused to study together, looked over each other's essays, and he constantly told me not to even bother applying. Then decisions came out, and we opened them at the same time. I was accepted, and he was rejected. Jake had a massive panic attack, and instead of celebrating my acceptance with my family, I sat in my room all day, because Jake would get furious when he saw me. I once even caught him trying to unlock my laptop to decline my offer, since his friend DM'd me to warn that he had been talking about doing that. My parents obviously punished him for that, which made it so much worse. When my H sweatshirt came in, he screamed at me for showing off when I just put it in my closet. He told so many people that I got in only because I was a girl, and that H mixed the siblings up. Honestly, I felt bad for him because because I would be crushed too if I were him. Every time I tried to get to stop him, it got worse. I just started to keep tolerating it. I thought it'd get better after the summer, once college actually started. It has not. Now it's really saddened that he's going to a good, in my opinion, state school, and not H. His anger is largely compounded by the fact that he's going to the same college that he used to condescend other students about aiming for. My classes start soon, so I've been setting up in our study, which I share with Jake. Both of our rooms are tiny, with no room to study in, so we share a study with 2 desks that face away from each other. Jake cleared out my whole desk and broke my lamp in the process. He says that I need to study in my room, so he can use the study without distraction for his classes. We've always both worn headphones. There's literally no distraction. He just doesn't want to see me taking classes at H. I'm so fucking done. I just want to be proud that I got into this college and actually learn without my brother screaming at me about it. Where I might be the asshole, we got into an argument and I told him that of course he got rejected since H didn't take toddlers. I've also been wearing my H sweatshirt around the house constantly, which he gets angry about. He kept bothering me, so I super glued H rejection letters in the drawers of his desk so he has to see them when he opens them. Okay, the last one is petty. I was like, not the asshole, till I read the last line. The top comment is, after reading what you did, everyone sucks here. This is escalating. Where are your parents in all this? For college-bound kids, you both need to grow up. OP actually responded to that, saying, yeah, valid, I was being a dick. My parents don't want to get involved and think we need to settle it between ourselves. If need be, they separate us to our rooms and talk to us. Mom to Jake, dad to me. Staying away from each other isn't really possible when you live in the same house though. Dad usually says things like, just tolerate it, your brother is hurting right now, but it will get better. Once milestone in a few months from the talk. The overall vote on this was not, was everyone sucks, sorry. I don't know, I would say not the asshole. For 2 reasons. I think he is actually acting very, very inconsiderate. I get that he had a dream, and it is really, really sad that his dream got crushed. I feel really sympathetic towards him. It must be super, super hard to then see your sister, you know, someone you always compare yourself to your entire life, go to the uni that you initially wanted to go to. So I really, really understand that must have been really, really hard for him. But I feel like a lot of people would handle it very differently. I feel like he is, you know, making a lot of his anger go towards his sister, which is very unfair, because colleges, universities, they're all open for everyone, and just from assuming that they are still gonna live at home and going to uni, as it sounds, it is kind of one of the only unis in their area, so it wouldn't have been too big of a surprise that she applied there too. So I kind of hate the fact that he's just like, you know, what the hell, why did you get it and I didn't? It's just life, you know, it's shitty, obviously, but it's really unfair from Jake to redirect all his anger towards his sister. I feel like, yes, the parents do actually have to she says like, you're too stupid, but she's just referring to his current actions, which they are actually really, really childish. So, you know, I think Top Cohen said it pretty well. They do both have to do a bit of growing. I feel like the parents have to step up their game and yeah, diffuse the issue here a bit. It's very petty here, but you know, I feel like Jake's just off the rails. I get that he's upset, but mate, you need to pull it together. I feel like we just flew over the sentence, and then he tried to decline her uni offer. Bro, you can't just ruin your sister's, you know, possibilities, opportunities, just because you're mad you didn't get into the same uni. That's just rude, you know. And then sit the year out, do some travelling, and then reapply in a year, and maybe you'll get in then. Who knows? But this is it's just too much. We don't like it. We don't like to see that here. We like to support other people and not hate on them just because they have something we can't have. So yeah, I feel like a P is not the asshole here. Do let me know what you think. I'd love to know. So far no one has given me an opinion to any other stories, so if you want to be the first one, I'd be more than excited to discuss these stories in the comments with you. Alrighty, the next story is called Am I the Asshole If I Stop Paying My Daughter's Tuition Over Disgusting Comment She Made Towards My New Girlfriend. My 56 male wife died at a young age of 51 from a car accident. I was in deep mourning for about a year after her death. I met my new girlfriend, C, 43 female, around January. C was the one who made me laugh for the first time after my wife died. She's smart as hell, 3 Ivy League degrees, has a dark sense of humour that I love, is a terrific cook, and overall an amazing woman who I can imagine spending the rest of my life with. She is also on the heavier side, a fact that becomes relevant later. I have 2 children, E, 25 male, and A, 19 female. They were all well aware that I had gotten a new girlfriend before I first introduced them to C this summer. She got along immediately with E, but A was very standoffish. After that initial meeting, I asked A if there was something wrong, but she denied it. C made a few more attempts to get to know A, but they were all rudely rejected. E and A both came off home for her Thanksgiving dinner. I asked A to please be polite during the meal, since she's always been rude to her in her interactions with Izzy, even though C has been nothing but gracious in return. The dinner was going all well as it could have for the first 10 minutes, although I noticed A glaring at C the entire time. When C went to grab her third helping of mashed potatoes, A said, Don't you think you've eaten enough, you fat pig?" C started sobbing immediately and ran off into the bathroom. I felt my face turn red and told A to get out. About half an hour after A left, I texted her stating that I would no longer pay her tuition unless 1, she apologizes to C, and 2, C accepts her apology. A must have assumed that I was bluffing because she instead doubled down on her behavior during Thanksgiving dinner. I then looked into her university's tuition payment website, cancelled next semester's tuition, and sent A the screenshots. She called me crying and begging me to reconsider, but I told her my mind was made up. So the overall vote on this is everyone sucks here. I feel like there's also a lot to unravel. But top comment, everyone sucks here. Something more's undoubtedly going in between C and A. You need to find out why A has such a strong dislike of her and reacted so strongly. A is probably still deep in mourning for her mother. You managed to put your grief behind you, but the process is much slower for some people. Seeing C in her mother's place at Thanksgiving was probably very hard on your daughter. That doesn't excuse her rudeness, but it might explain it. Secondly, you've made your daughter's tuition dependent on C accepting her apology. As the fees are something between you and your daughter, that's not appropriate, especially as C seems to be the issue here. Edit. When I say C's the issue, I mean the relationship C and I have, not C herself. Yeah, someone else said. This is a very long comment. I would also agree with everyone's sex here. Please try looking at it from your daughter's perspective, OP. It may not excuse her actions, but at the very least, don't punish her for her grief. I have been in a similar situation, though it happened to me at a much later age. I flashed out, and I still despise the new woman, because the speed at which the new woman came into his life made me question everything up to that point. Was the marriage even real? In the case of your daughter, she has the added grief she needs to process, and in her eyes she might feel she hasn't had the time to. While she's still grieving, you brought this new person back and forced her to accept, again, that the reality that her mother is truly dead, and you've already moved on. Certainly, you withholding paying her tuition on condition of her apology makes you also an asshole. She hasn't had any time at all to even build up her own savings, and you dropped her the moment you can because she offended your new girlfriend. That would just build up resentment and further her inner convictions that now you've moved on, you've chosen this new woman over her, your daughter. Frankly speaking, there are many others, better ways you could have handled this. Sitting her down and asking her how she's feeling for one. Understand and give her the space she needs, and she will come back for this. Yeah, I would definitely say as well that everyone sucks here. The daughter is obviously in the wrong for being so mean, for being so, rude and disrespectful. It's comments like that are really, really hurtful, but I feel like that there definitely is a bigger picture in this story. I feel like this rudeness isn't just coming out of absolutely nowhere. I definitely agree with Reddit here. I agree that I think the daughter is still grieving. It's just a year later, so I feel like it's really, really early, and I can't even imagine how hard it is to lose your mom and then your dad just moves on. And when there's like the smallest fight over something, because in the end, like, yes, it is really mean, but it isn't the worst thing anyone has ever done. So cancelling her college tuition for that, potentially ruining her entire future with that, because she's trying to get a degree, she's trying to, make a future for herself here, is very, very shitty. Like, what option does she have? You are just in the long, like on a long side in the future. I don't know how to say that, sorry. Just like thinking about the future, you're just kind of like forcing her on a condition here, and she ain't gonna be happy about it, and her apology to C is definitely not gonna be sincere. I would much rather work on the issue here, see a therapist maybe, because like, I don't want to assume anything, but it does sound like she is still grieving, which fair enough, losing your mum is so hard. I cannot even imagine. She's 19, so give her some space, give her some credit as well, and try and talk to her, and maybe they can figure it out. I have hopes. Alrighty, the next story is called Am I the Asshole for Bringing a Baby to Class? Hi, please let me know, because I'm honestly not sure. For context, my university is completely online. I'm male and 20 years emergency happened, and it required my aunt and uncle to leave their house at late night. I live close to them, and they have a baby that's less than a year old. So they called my parents to tell them about the emergency, and then called me. They asked if I could come to their house and take care of their baby, and until they came back, and I was down with that. I've taken care of babies before, so this was new to me. Took my stuff and drove to their house. Stayed with my cousins. Now, by the time my morning class comes around, my aunt and uncle haven't shown up yet, which was within expected. They told me they'll be back by 1-2 p.m. and I had my baby cousin in my lap, setting my laptop up for my morning class as my cousin falls asleep, and I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. A sleeping baby is the best kind of baby. Do not move them. Now, here's the problem. I had a presentation to do. And so, my video is off. As I'm preparing to give it, and the professor goes, OP, please turn on your camera. I have a sleeping baby right now, so is that okay with you? A sleeping baby? Yeah, there was a family emergency, so my cousin's asleep on me right now. I don't want to say the details in class, but I can email you after class and supply any proof you need. It's fine, please turn on your camera. Sorry guys, I think it's kind of funny. So I do, and my cousin is asleep, and I give the entire presentation, and I'm really proud of how it went, because I think I did really well, and I answer all questions, and my cousin doesn't wake up. Like, this is the best scenario. Well, last night I got my grade for the PowerPoint, along with an email from the professor that says he marked me down because she felt the baby was there as a pity prop. And I was so tempting to gain sympathy, and if I hadn't had the baby, I would have gotten higher. So, was I the asshole for showing up with the baby? I didn't think about the pity aspect. Edit. Sorry for sporadic replies. I'm still a university student balancing my stuff. Few clarifications. Yes, I did send her proof she would have required to see there was an emergency. Yes, I will be reporting and updating. Yes, there are many better ways I could have done this, but a stressed and sleep-deprived student is normally the best source of judgment. The class was a philosophy one. I don't know why I think this is so funny. I'm just imagining him being like all stressed about his presentation and then just like having this like baby on his lap. Top comment is, no, not the asshole. You should take that note from the teacher to academic affairs. It's inappropriate and out of line, and your grade shouldn't be lowered because of a professor's bias. I've been in grad school and had peers bring babies into the classroom, and there's no penalty because you gotta do what you gotta do. So, what I have to say to that, overall vote was not the asshole. I'm heavily on team not the asshole, obviously. God, I feel like the teacher is way out of line here. Honestly, you should give that guy, I think it was, right? Yeah, it was a guy. You should give that guy a lot of props that he is that amazing for looking after that baby, even though he is in a university and he's 20. I don't know a lot of 20-year-olds that, you know, are that outgoing, are that like helpful, can handle uni and the baby, that well spoken, so that, you know, think about stuff like that to not wake up the baby. So I feel like amazing guy that he also has been able to hold the presentation so well through all that stress. That should be worth extra credit, right? So yeah, not the asshole, out of question here for me. And I feel like the professor should do a little better, because unis are usually trying to be very like child friendly, because you should have the exact same opportunities if you have a kid there with you or not. So yeah, for sure, 1000% not the asshole. But let's get to the next story. The next story is called, Am I the Asshole for Making My Chronically sacrifices along the way for me. Last time I offered her a ride to work, she ended up being 20 minutes late after I've already arrived at her place. Because of that, I ended up being late for work. She's always very apologetic about her lateness, but never changes. This week she was supposed to give a seminar at the university. I'm very sorry about my stomach, it doesn't want to stop today. Which is a crucial part of her PhD program. She asked me if I could give her a ride to work that day. I told her sure, but that I was picking her up at 8 a.m. and she must be there exactly at 8 a.m. and not a minute later. She chuckled, but I told her I wasn't joking, and she promised me that she'll be there. The morning of her seminar, I drove to her place and got there at 7:55 and texted her that I was there, and she told me she would be out in just a minute. At 8, there was no indication that she would come out, and she didn't text anything. So at 8:01, I drove off. At around 8:20, she called me asking where I was. I told her that I was at work and that I wasn't joking when I told her that she had to be ready right at that minute. She started screaming and crying over the phone and told me that she was having a hard time that morning and couldn't be ready at 8 a.m. She then begged me to come back to pick her up as her seminar is at 8 a.m. and she needed to be there at school before then. I could have done it quickly enough to pick her up and drop her off without it affecting my work, but I decided I didn't want to do that and told her that I won't. She was crying and hyperventilating at that point and said she promised to never be late for anything else ever again, and re-emphasized that this seminar was crucial for her PhD and she absolutely cannot miss it without severe consequence. I responded, "Oh well," and hung up. And then I went about my day at work normally. I feel like I could have went back and picked her up in this scenario since it wouldn't have been detrimental to me, and at the same time this was something very important for her. On the other hand, I feel like this should have been a wake-up call for her chronic lateness. Edit. Thank you for the kind words. To answer a few common questions, yes, she did miss her seminar and apparently got into big trouble with the school. I don't think it was going to ruin her PhD, but there are definitely consequences. Regarding her friendship, it was already on its way out when this happened, and now we haven't talked at all for a while. Before I'm getting to the comments, I just have one question. Do cabs and Ubers not exist where you live? Why did she not just call a cab? Would have solved her problem. Top comment. Heavily awarded. This is kind of news story, so it's just like a month old, so recent activities here. Not the asshole, you want her. She also had 40 minutes to make other arrangements even after all her procrastination. Could you have been kinder? Yes. Could you have reminded her about your time restrictions? Yes. Could you have given her final notice with an "I'm going to drive away at 8? Yes. Is it rude AF to be continuously late? Hell yes. Is she an adult? Yes. Is it your problem to manage her time? No. Still, not the asshole. Yeah. See, in my books, if she constantly makes the same thing, she's constantly late, she constantly is, as OB says here, it is really, really hard, but you just can't make your friend be late to work because of that. If he's kind enough to, pick you up every morning or occasionally, that is already a really nice thing to do, and I feel like it's only fair to make sure you don't let him wait and that he is still on time for his things, because if he's constantly late to his work, obviously that's gonna be bad in his books. So obviously OP is not the asshole here. She could definitely manage this a little better. But what kind of brings into my mind now is, having issues with like ADHD or something. It might sound like she has a very hard time being on time, like concepting how much time it needs for her to get ready. So I think there might be, oh god, it's so loud today, sorry. I think there might be a bit of a bigger issue going on, but it's still not fair, like she still can't do that. And as I said, why did she not call an Uber or a cab? If OP could have driven from her work to her, pick her up and come back, she surely would have had time to call a cab or an Uber and still get her on time. So it doesn't make sense to me. Alright, the next story is called Am I the Asshole for Getting Our Teacher Suspended for Using Red and Green Pens in Class Only? I, 19, female, am currently attending university. One of my main professors insists on using the whiteboard in class for explaining everything and anything, whether it's words or diagrams or explanations, so it's pretty important to be able to read. Here's the problem. I am colorblind and I cannot distinguish the difference between red and green. Like it all, it just looks the same to me. This is a common problem, so I always carry a black and blue whiteboard marker pen to give to a teacher in case there isn't a blue one around. It saves time and embarrassment on my behalf. So I tell my professor my problem, and the first lecture goes fine. He doesn't use green and uses my blue and black pens instead. I don't know why, but this room only had green and red. The next lecture, however, I give over my pen and he starts to use the green and the red pens to explain graphs and stuff. Completely ununderstandable to me. So I raise my hand in a room of like 120 people and ask him if he can use the blue pen I gave him so I can actually see the difference in lines. Then Professor then kind of scoffed and said he couldn't change now or the rest of the class would get confused. I just nodded and looked away because his tone was so condescending. The rest of the lecture he used green and red, so I just couldn't write up my notes. Insert, a super amazing girl in front of me asked for my email and sent me her notes that she was creating on her computer. She even changed all the colouring so I could see it properly, and I was shocked when I got them. I nearly cried. People don't do this very often. Anyway, I emailed the professor and asked him one last time if he could just use a blue pen instead of green and red, and he emailed back almost instantly to tell me that a lot of work is done in green and red, and I'll probably struggle with it anyway. I got so mad I emailed up the head of our school and told them everything I said here. The next day, a rumour was going around he was suspended, and I got a confirmation of it later that day when the head of the school contacted me for a meeting in a few days. I feel pretty bad. I don't want this guy's career to suffer because of some pens. This stresses me out. Am I the asshole? I would say no. The overall vote on Reddit was also no. So that he isn't the asshole. Top comment is, not the asshole. His career isn't suffering over pens. His career is in trouble because he refused to accommodate your disability. He could have made such a simple change, but he decided to be an asshole on a power trip instead. Yeah, I feel like that as well. I feel like he just, didn't want to get told to change his pens to blue. So annoying, obviously. Yeah, OP is not the asshole. This professor needs a good scolding by the head of the university. I don't know. So I hope he doesn't get And as far as I can tell, I haven't experienced colorblindness myself, but as far as I can tell, she can't differentiate between red and green, but she still can see it, right? But it just looks like one color, right? But they can still see it. I think I know that. But where I was going with this, he doesn't even need to use red, black and blue in. He doesn't need to use two colors instead. He just needs to switch out one, right? Because then she would be able to make a different differentiation between the two. Or am I thinking something wrong here? But I feel like it's just not a problem, not a biggie. I hate that he isn't compliant with that. So it's kind of it's really annoying. Not the asshole, obviously. Am I the asshole for failing a student on the last day of class? As a side gig, I teach once a week for a local university. The students come to the hospital where I work, and I teach them by doing direct patient care. They also have written assignments to complete, some for me in the clinical setting and some in the classroom. Most of the students I have are seniors, so college work is no new to them. This semester I have a student who just has a lack of motivation and puts in little effort. Her assignments are usually submitted late, but there's nothing in the syllabus that states they can't be turned in late for full credit. The students are also allowed to redo one failed assignment for full credit. She failed her first assignment, and I have reminded her throughout the term that she has to redo it because it's a required assignment to pass the course. She shows up exactly on time or 2 to 3 minutes late for class. Their syllabus states that they must be on time for the clinical portion of the class that I teach, or they will be sent home and their absence is unexcused. I have not kicked her out when she's been 2 to 3 minutes late because it seems pretty petty. She has also missed a couple of classes that had to be made up with other clinical experiences to get her the required hours. I've discussed this with her course professor and also with this student in her midterm evaluation. She missed her second to last clinical, and I reminded her that she would have to complete the final assignment at her last clinical to pass. She assured me she would. I just had a conversation with her classroom professor, who has also been frustrated with the student this term. She just finally turned in an assignment that was 3 weeks late. I was annoyed by that because she ended up getting the same grade as students who completed it on time. Next semester, the syllabus will specify points loss for the late assignment. This hasn't historically been an issue. Her course professor had a conversation with her in class last week about a final clinic, and that assignment absolutely having to pass or she fails the course. On her last day of clinical, all the students were there, dressed in scrubs, ready for patient rounds on time, except this student who walked in 3 minutes late and not dressed. I said, "You are late and you are not ready. This is unprofessional. You need to leave immediately." So, my making her leave means she fails the course because there is no chance to make it up and it's final exam weeks. It also means it delays her graduation by at least 1 semester because she will have to retake the course and couldn't take a course next term that needs to this one as a prereq. At the time, I felt very justified in sending her home. She's been giving several warnings and multiple breaks with late work, but now I'm feeling kind of like I might have been an asshole in kicking her out, knowing it guaranteed her course failure when I've let her stay when she was late in the past. What do you think, Reddit? Edit. I've had a few comments where I've addressed it, and it should probably be added to the original post. I did discuss her tardiness with her several times. At the beginning of the term, she was 2 to 3 minutes late every day. At first I said, "Be careful your time. Then a more stern, we start on time. You need to be dressed and ready to go by the start of clinical. But I was trying not to be a total hard ass after 2 minutes. At midterm, I had to do a written evaluation of each student. I put on there that she was often tardy and needed to be on time. Those go in her file. I also filed an academic improvement plan which discussed her tardiness to clinical and those failed assignments. The AAP outlines further expectations which included being on time and turning in assignments. The AIP stays in her file and goes to her academic advisor. At that time, I told her she had to be on time and ready for clinical, or the next time she would be sent home. Added to... Holy cow, I shut my phone off for a couple of hours to go see a movie, and this is exploding. I'm trying really hard to catch up on reading everyone's comments and answer questions. Bear with me if you posted a question. I'm trying to weave my way through this thread. I've seen a few comments and gotten a bunch of DMs calling me a misogynistic pig. I'm a female. The student being female had zero to do with my decision. Last term, I had a male student who behaved similarly and nearly failed, but finally got his shit together and showed up on time. I don't care what their gender is, just do your freaking work. And for people saying I'm the asshole, because why does 2 to 3 minutes make a difference? You clearly have no idea what rounds are like in the hospital. At the time it begins, you have to have doctors, nurses, residents, students, probably case managers, social workers, etc., who assemble in a group to present each patient's case. Every one of them is ready to go. At our hospital, an overhead announcement is made 10 minutes before rounds start, so that everyone gets their shit together and is ready. I've told my students it's best to arrive about 10 to 15 minutes early so they can change in the hospital scrubs and the group ready to go. Nobody is waiting 2 to 3 minutes for a student to catch up, and you can be damn sure nobody's waiting 10 minutes for a student who came in late and wasn't dressed. Final edit. Yes, I did attempt to find out what's going on in her personal life. I'm not an orc. I wanted to help her and would have been willing to help her in any way I could have if she'd given me anything I could work with. Her tardiness was typically the result of staying up too late and sleeping as late as possible. The incomplete and late assignments were the result of failing another course and focusing more on bringing her grade up there. So I tried being flexible on both to keep her sane, which evidently was not what I should have done. She did not fail because she was late for class. She had a required assignment 3 months ago that she failed. She put the redo off for 3 months. The day before her final clinical practicum, that she was advised that it was her last chance to complete it, and that she had to be on time and prepared because she was on a final written warning for tardiness. Her failing grade comes from not completing a required assignment. I do not know if she has ADHD. I will keep that in mind in the future if I see this again. I have requested that the course professor edit the syllabus next term to include a clause for late assignments. It's not my syllabus to write. I don't teach in the classroom. Due to a lot of comments I've read, I've now realized that I need to be more of an hard ass in enforcing attendance rules, and wasn't doing anyone any favors and trying to be lenient. So in the future, I will allow the one tardy with a warning. Second time, I will send them home. Thank you everyone for your feedback. I really was conflicted over it. I feel like since I have a written since I gave her final written warning saying her next tardy resulted in her being sent home, she needed to be sent home. I had to struggle a bit because of it being her last chance to complete her assignment, but you've all made me realize that it was her choice and she was aware of those consequences. I appreciate all of your comments, no matter how you voted. It helped me look deeper at what I was doing, and I will do the same in the future. Overall vote was not the asshole, and I feel like this I feel like this was a really long case, and I feel like a lot of it already got explained. I classes and telling my family I refuse to feel sorry for her. Her classes are all remote through Zoom. Don't even need a webcam on, just log onto the class so the teacher sees your name there and checks it off. But I guess that was too much for her, and she would rather sleep all day instead. She missed the past 2 weeks straight. The university policy is if you miss 2 weeks of class, you get dropped. I know, I go there too. So of course yesterday, when she tried to log on, she found she was dropped from everything. She was distraught because she thought she was going to get in trouble with mom and dad. Honestly, I was worried that they'd kick her out with how they'd been talking when I started going a few years ago. If you drop out, you gotta find a new place to live and all that. While I don't feel bad for her getting dropped from the classes, I wouldn't want her to be homeless. Instead of being upset, mom and dad just tried to comfort her, telling her lies about how it's not her fault. The school was too harsh. I was planning on keeping my feelings to myself, but my mom kept bugging me, asking for me to try and help make her feel better. After the 7th or 8th time that night, I snapped and said my piece, saying how she knew the school rules. We all were well aware of them, but she'd rather sleep all day than go to class for the past 2 weeks. So no, I refuse to feel sorry for her, that her own actions caught up with her. You said if I ever did anything like this, I'd be kicked out. But now you're just coddling her. Mom said the pandemic has been hard on us all, and that it should be understandable if people do not have the energy to go to class. I said I would agree, but says has somehow found energy to go to very unsafe house parties each and every weekend since the pandemic started, including the 2 she skipped class, putting everyone in the house at greater risk. But somehow she doesn't have the energy for school. Sis and mom aren't talking to me right now. Dad is torn on who to side with. Edit, yes, mom and dad know my sister's party. Mom is afraid of her missing out on a year or 2 of dating and socializing will lead to her being single forever. I'm engaged already before you ask. Edit 2, just to reiterate, I didn't say anything until my mom pushed and pushed and pushed me. Also, as far as I've been told, I'm the only one in the family diagnosed with depression. The overall vote on this was not the asshole. I do feel the same as the person in one of the early stories. I feel like the reaction was really forced. I feel like she was like standing against the wall, you know, and someone like pushed and pushed and pushed till they got that. So, you know, I feel like it's fair. Just, you know, in 2 weeks not going to class, there are consequences to your actions, and like if you don't require a camera, you could have literally just like logged on and not, it's like, you know, so I don't know. Top comments is not the asshole. I am big on accountability. Your sister can't take accountability for something that is clearly her and her fault alone, and your parents aren't doing her any favors by placing blame everywhere else. This will repair itself in other areas for years to come. Turning on a computer is so much easier than getting yourself up and heading onto campus. It takes close to 0 effort to do. Your parents giving her a pass and handing her an excuse for her behavior is enabling her, and it will burn them in the end. Should they kick her out? No. But consequences are important. For instance, my sister screwed up one semester and my parents were paying for school. They made her pay the next semester and they would pay her back if she passed. It worked. Hopefully whomever paid for school can still get reimbursed for this semester. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I obviously think not the asshole. Her sister, you know, it sounds like she has different priorities than university, because she could have literally just like logged on and just left. Well, Zoom, I've been there, I've done that. I had online Zoom classes, so, you know, into your swimming classes. And yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'd love if you'd stick around. So